If you have any doubt at all about Russia's commitment to peace or Putin's commitment to peace, all you need to do is check out what's happening or what happened last night in Mykolaiv. Now, if you go to, if you look on a map of Russia, Ukraine, there's Ukraine in the corner next to Poland, Crimea at the bottom, and just above Crimea is Kharkiv, in the area which is still retained by Ukraine. Just up the river is Mykolaiv. And the overnight drone assault on Mykolaiv, this river port, alongside attacks on Zelensky's hometown, constitutes a stark demonstration of how Russia under Putin continues to manipulate the language of peace while prosecuting war with undiminished intensity. So last night, the Russian military launched strikes against Mykolaiv, a key Ukrainian port city about 40 miles from the Black Sea, and simultaneously unleashed what Ukrainian officials described as the largest drone assault yet on President Zelensky's hometown. Over 117 drones were launched, nearly half were intercepted, and dozens redirected by Ukraine's impressive, though increasingly stretched, air defense systems. Now, at face value, these attacks may appear as just another grim chapter in the ongoing war, but their timing is revealing. Just hours earlier, Washington had announced what it termed a ceasefire deal over the Black Sea, a narrow truce aimed at pausing strikes at sea and on energy infrastructure. However, what might have sounded like a diplomatic breakthrough was immediately undermined by the facts on the ground. So, just to be absolutely direct, the so-called Black Sea peace is no peace at all. It's a geographically and strategically limited ceasefire, one that conspicuously excludes the port cities of Mykolaiv and Odessa. And as Sergei Vovk of the Ukrainian Center for Transport Strategies bluntly puts it, there's not a single word about the protection of our port infrastructure from missiles and drones. In other words, the core arteries of Ukrainian maritime commerce remain entirely exposed. This makes sense only if one understands Putin's ceasefire gambit not as a genuine overture for peace, but as a ploy. And according to reports, the Kremlin is conditioning any wider truce on the lifting of sanctions, notably those targeting Russian agricultural firms and one of its largest banks. This isn't peace, this is extortion, masquerading as diplomacy. Even Trump, now once again prominent in international discourse, admitted that Moscow may be dragging its feet. He likened the Kremlin's tactics to a business brinkmanship, stalling, delaying, feigning interest to prolong negotiations. In Trump's own words, I want to sort of stay in the game, but maybe I don't want to do it. It's a candid and quite damning description of Putin's negotiating style. Meanwhile, Moscow's actions speak louder, surely, than its ever-shifting statements. Despite claims of restraint, Russia struck Ukrainian energy infrastructure 8 times after the truce was announced, according to President Zelensky's advisor. And last night, the same night it allegedly sought peace in the Black Sea, it launched this massive aerial campaign inland, away from the front and far from the agreed maritime limits. This is peace by sleight of hand. It's a Potemkin peace. And the strategic significance of Mykolaiv cannot be overstated. As a port city with deep access inland, its control is crucial for Ukraine's export economy, particularly grain and metals. And by attacking it, Putin is sending 2 simultaneous signals. First, that he retains military dominance over key nodes of Ukraine's infrastructure. Second, that the West's celebration of a Black Sea ceasefire is premature at best and delusional at worst. And Zelensky called the Kremlin's line another lie. Of course it is. A continuation of Moscow's long-standing practice of muddying terms, obfuscating timelines, announcing self-serving narratives designed to confuse and delay international action. Indeed, the supposed 30-day ceasefire on energy strikes is said by Moscow to have started retroactively on March the 18th, despite the fact that attacks have continued almost nightly since then. And this backdating trick is not diplomacy, it's bureaucracy, weaponized for war. And so the attacks on Mykolaiv and on Zelensky's hometown are not aberrations. They are the clearest signal yet that Putin remains committed to controlling the pace, the scope, the visibility of this war. He now selectively offers peace corridors while continuing to assault civilian infrastructure and export hubs elsewhere, calculating that international attention spans are short and Western negotiations increasingly eager for even symbolic progress. What we're seeing is not peace. It's a cartographic theatre. Russia is ring-fencing the Black Sea for its own ends while keeping the rest of Ukraine within range of its missiles. It's negotiating with one hand and striking with the other. And as history has often taught us, a truce that excludes key cities, key civilians, key truths is not a truce at all.